Alright, so today we're going to be taking a look at one of the most entertaining series ever created, the Psycho series. Credit to McJuggernuggets. And do note that there are massive spoilers for the Psycho series in this video if you haven't watched it. So yeah, watch it if you haven't, then come back. Now when a series like this finds success, it's easy to assume that it's just superb acting or excessive drama that gave the series its punch. I mean, after all, those were some of the series' staples. But I'm here to prove that it was much more than that. I'm here to show that Psycho Kid wasn't so psycho after all.
Holy shit!
Now before we get into it,
our operation is small, but there's a lot of potential for aggressive expansion.
So please do like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. It really helps the algorithm, and I'm going to continue making videos like this. So if you like my takes or want to discuss them, please support the channel. I really appreciate it. That being said, let's get into it. Now here's reason number one why the Psycho series was so entertaining. First, the superhero origin and the continuing burden. So this is the first writing tool used in this series. And yes, Jesse, or Psycho Kid, has a superhero-like origin story. And here's what I mean. In many of the great superhero stories, the superhero is birthed from extreme tragedy. But in some cases, and even most cases, coupled with this extreme tragedy is extreme unfairness. And this unfairness usually makes it so that the story horrendously punishes the soon-to-be hero for a very tiny mistake. So what happens is that the normal equation of a story, where good is rewarded with good and bad is rewarded with bad, gets completely distorted. Why? Because bad gets rewarded with crushing bad, and the result of a small bad action or mistake that the soon-to-be hero may make hits the soon-to-be hero like a truck. And just as an aside, to get a better look at what the normal equation of a story usually looks like, check out my Yu-Gi-Oh video which goes in depth about this rewarding of the right and wrong path/choices. But continuing on as it relates to distorting this equation. Take Sam Raimi's Spider-Man for example. Here, Peter, a young kid, lies about going to the library and goes to a wrestling ring to try to make some money so he can buy a car to impress a girl he likes. Now is this wrong? Yes. But consequence, not injury in the ring, not reprimand from his aunt and uncle when he gets home, not anything else fitting for a young impulsive teenager who has made a teenager level mistake. Rather, his uncle happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time due to his lie and dies. And the story makes it even worse by making it so that he had a chance to prevent his uncle's shooting by stopping the robber beforehand, and didn't.
Stop him! He's got my money! Thanks.
Batman is another example. And this is especially clear in Nolan's Batman universe because the Wayne family leaves the theater where his mother and father are mugged and killed because Bruce is afraid. But Bruce's fear isn't a bad thing, it's a natural thing. And any kid may be afraid of a bat-themed drama after falling into a bat-filled well like he had recently. But the story absolutely slams him for it. Be afraid as a child for legitimate reasons? You get your parents killed. Now Alfred may try to talk him out of this thinking, but the story has been set up this way for a reason. And to miss the hidden subtleties is to miss the greatness of what the author has done. In any case, this is the extreme diversion from the norm I was speaking on. And this is what I call the superhero origin. Now to see what I mean as it relates to the Psycho series, you only need to look at the first episode of the Psycho series. And in that first episode, Jesse, Psycho Kid, shouldn't be playing on his dad's TV. But what consequence does he deserve for this? A yelling? Probably. Confiscation of the Xbox? Maybe. Taking the Xbox outside and tossing it so that it breaks into pieces? Most of us don't think so. And because of this, Jesse gains the superhero origin. And beyond just gaining the superhero origin, we come to see as the series goes on that he has a continuing burden of this same pattern happening over and over again in more extreme examples. Whether it be a lawnmower, a drowned Xbox,
Call somebody, Jess! This isn't right, you can't do this to your child! Yes, I can.
That means something to me!
Committed to us that you wouldn't game.
I made a commitment to that!
How many times
I
did
made
he
a commitment to that!
Holy shit!
Or a chucked Wii.
I can't! I did! Holy shit! What was there? What was that? That's a consequence. That wasn't even mine!
Jesse suffers the superhero origin over and over again. And instead of having normal sympathy for him, like we would for any other normal hero, we have constantly revitalized sympathy that changes based on how much emotional distress Jesse has been or is being caused. In writing terms, this proves to be extremely compelling. And it also ensures we never really turn away because we become more invested in this emotionally wounded and continually emotionally wounded character. This is a genius writing tactic, and a great hook for not just the first episode, but the entire series. Reason 2A, the Instigator. Now I've called the Instigator Reason 2A because the Instigator breeds conflict, which makes any story interesting. Your story needs conflict. No one wants to read or watch a story where nothing interesting is happening between the characters. We want to see the characters clash, and that's exactly what the Psycho series gives us. But it does that through the Instigator, Jeffrey, also known as Big Brother. And beyond using Jeffrey to create conflict by consistently setting up Jesse to get his stuff broken, the story paints Jeffrey as a very obvious jerk, which builds our compassion and sympathy for Jesse, who already has the superhero origin. And note that Jeffrey's inclusion also adds a comedic aspect because of how his character is crafted. Whenever Jesse gets his stuff broken, Jeffrey just laughs about it. And even if we know we probably shouldn't be laughing at Jesse's emotional distress, we find ourselves laughing too, or at least struggling not to. So Jeffrey appeals to something in us that is a little sadistic, and this is in some sense emotionally thrilling and entertaining, even if sometimes on a subconscious level. So this is reason 2A.
There's plastic everywhere! Get the fuck out of here!
Now reason 2B, the villain appears. Now every good superhero needs an amazing villain. And in this case, Jesse's villain is his father.
I am your father.
And since we mentioned Darth Vader, maybe we should call Jesse Luke Skywalker.
That's crap.
Moving on, what you do have to realize is that the villain creates a very interesting dynamic and breeds conflict, which we need within the story. And there are different types of villains that you can have, and they can generate conflict in different ways. You can have conflict because a hero and a villain are fighting to get the same thing, like Batman and the Joker battling for the soul of Gotham, or Sonic and Dr. Eggman battling for Chaos Emeralds. You can have the villain trying to achieve something that the hero doesn't want them to achieve, like Thanos versus the Avengers, or you can have the villain trying to stop the hero from doing something for whatever reason, like Lex in Batman Superman Public Enemies. And as a brief rundown for those unfamiliar with the movie, spoiler alert, a meteor was headed towards Earth, and Lex wanted it to kill millions so that they could create a new world. Thus, he wanted to try to stop Batman and Superman from destroying the meteor before it hit the Earth. Now in Jesse's case, he wants to continue playing video games, but his dad wants him to get out of the house and get a job. And because of this, Jesse's dad becomes the villain of Jesse's story. Now as it relates to reason 3, we, the audience, reach, or should start to reach, a startling revelation, which is that these are two extremes. Much like Professor X and Magneto, where both are too far invested into their position and miss the balance and truth of life. Now some people may miss this, but at a certain point in the series, you should start to think more along the lines of, Psycho Dad is a villain. Or is he? And the reason why you should start to think this way is because through these repeated interactions, we learn he's not the villain we thought he was, because as the series goes on, we learn that Jesse plans to game full time, but that it isn't yet making him enough money to make a living. So Jesse does need a real job until gaming proves lucrative. And this is what Psycho Dad is trying to help him understand. Listen to what Psycho Dad says before mowing his games over.
You got student loans, you got car payment, you got insurance.
And listen to Jesse's response.
I'm really fucking good at it!
So Jesse is a bit out of balance because he's ignoring the fact that gaming isn't proving lucrative enough to provide for him. And if you're paying attention, you start to realize Psycho Dad might be onto something, even though he's an extreme. Because despite his glaringly obvious flaws, Psycho Dad is acting in one sense from a position of love, wanting to see the best for his son and not see him fail in life. But here's the genius of this revelation. It catapults us into another amazing storytelling tool, because as the abuse continues, the series makes it so that we want to see Jesse overcome this truth and prove his father wrong. So the Psycho series gives itself the advantage of having the underdog. And this is reason number 4. Now take a look at this scene from one of the episodes to see how the series masterfully does this. This scene is after Jesse apologizes for his Thanksgiving blunder, where he flipped a table and raged at the family.
But all I need is you to get out of your room. Get out of the sunlight.
It's an online job. Everything's going digital. I'm going to be big on YouTube and on Twitch, and you're going to see that I can do it.
You do get big.
Now the underdog is a fairly common storytelling tool, but what makes it special in its use here is how it is woven into the story. The Psycho series has many twists and turns, but at this particular point in time, it takes advantage of all the sympathy you have for Psycho Kid and turns it into a driving force for you being behind him even more than you would be otherwise. Because when he says to his dad,
I'm going to be big on YouTube and on Twitch, and you're going to see that I can do it.
you're right there behind him saying, yeah, tell him. And so the Psycho series now gains the story writing strength of having an underdog. And this generates sympathy, compassion, and it makes us root for the hero to overcome, which is another thing that keeps us watching. Now reason number 5, a beautiful lie. Ah yes, the beautiful lie. For those unaware, back when the Psycho series came out, everyone actually thought it was real. So this was like high-level reality TV that somehow made its way onto YouTube. Now even if you wanted to watch it today without knowing that it was fake, good luck, because all the comments on every video are asking if anyone remembers the days when we used to think it was real. But that being said, the beautiful lie made it so that when watching the series, we were able to have a range of emotions that we couldn't have had otherwise. And I really wouldn't have wanted them to be honest about the series being fake early on. I was in high school around the time this came out, and me and my friends would watch some of these and laugh at some of Jesse's reactions because we would feel genuinely bad for this dude. Like, really bad for this dude. As an example, I remember one time me and my school buddy were watching this dude after a new Psycho video had been released. And he's in the treehouse after his dad has destroyed his Xbox, and of course Jeffrey is filming everything. And this all climaxes in Jesse telling him to turn off the light on the camera. And this dude is like severely distressed. And Jeffrey just keeps adding to it by not turning off the camera, which culminates in a scream that absolutely had us rolling laughing. I mean, I was crying around the time because I just found this encounter so hilarious.
What's up, man? It's okay.
But being a bit more serious again, think about how many different emotions you had to go through watching this series. It just became an entirely different experience, and there's no way you could have that if you knew it was fake. So in the end, one of the greatest choices the Psycho family made was allowing people to believe the series was real. Now piggybacking on the idea of the beautiful lie, reason number 6 of why the Psycho series was so freaking good is a very simple but powerful concept. Relatability. Now it may be easy to see that the Psycho series was relatable on a surface level because the scenario of having an overbearing authority figure is quite common. But the Psycho series actually goes much deeper than this. It's relatable on very basic but powerful life levels. In life, how many of us want to go our own way or do our own thing, but feel held back by authority figures or life situations around us? How many of us have hopes and dreams that we feel we are being unfairly kept from? How many of us feel at times like it's us against the world and that nobody truly understands who we are, what we can do, and who we want to be or even were meant to be? These are all questions that reach far beyond gaming and apply to many areas of life. So in the end, we feel for Jesse, not only because he is going through something very difficult and trying, but also because we, for the most part, have had similar experiences. And it's for these reasons that we also want Jesse to succeed and overcome the voices and obstacles in his way. Because if Jesse succeeds, then it shows that we can succeed and overcome the voices in the world that is standing in the way of us being who we want and we're meant to be. These are things the story triggers on a subconscious level, and they build investment in the story whether the watcher knows it or not. Now finally, reason 7. What the Psycho series does in the end. In the end, the Psycho series leaves you wildly entertained by pushing you through a collage of different emotions and subtly touching on some of life's heaviest realities. You get joy and happiness through laughter. You get compassion as the hero is struck. You get bewilderment as Jeffrey finds another way to be the worst brother possible. You get thoughtful reflection as Psycho Mom and characters like Uncle Larry bring a balanced perspective. You get anxiety as you wait for Psycho Dad to break something. And the beauty of it is the speed of it all. You switch from this, to that, to that, to this, and it's just too good. Consider how quickly scenes change from one emotion or state of being to another.
This isn't right. You can't do this to your child.
Well, yes, I can. You're not listening. You're in my house. You're not listening.
I have a game in there. I have Halo Reach.
You should learn.
That means something to me.
Commitment to us that you wouldn't game.
I made a commitment to that.
How many times
I made
did
a
I-
commitment to that.
Holy shit! Holy shit!
The bigger the steak, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 3-4 minutes on each side. What I like to do is not see any freaking.
Dad, what the fuck are you doing outside?
What are you doing?
I can't. Dad.
Doing?
Holy shit.
What there? What was
That's
that?
a consequence.
That wasn't even mine.
What was that?
Are you coming home?
No, I'm not coming home. I want.
You're telling me right now it's over and you're not coming home.
Oh my God.
Tell me now.
Are you going to hear me?
Tell
Leave
me now.
Alone, okay?
So
I
is it
don't
over?
wanna be that
Is it
close.
over?
It's over.
It's over. Jesus Christ, Dad.
Dad, okay, Dad.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah, it's over.
Do this at my
Yeah.
work.
Dad. Shit.
You're all making money off of me.
This is the beauty of the Psycho series, and I truly feel privileged to have grown up in the era where I could experience it not as this fake series that had already happened, but rather as a series that I thought was real, and that gave me a crazy good experience where I can now look back on it and laugh and be glad I got to enjoy the ride. That being said, I don't want to limit the greatness of the Psycho series to only what I've presented in this video. These are only some of the top storytelling tools that I could spot. Besides them, there are many other things that I think made the Psycho series great. Whether it was the hero finally striking back, comedic effect thrown in by characters like Jeff, the creative ways Psycho Dad found to break things, the absolutely superb acting from the entire family, the small nuances like Dad appearing to reach a tipping point while smashing a Nintendo Switch because he feels like he never reached his Psycho Kid because of the stupid games, or whether it was anything else, all of these things came together to create an amazing series that many people still rewatch to this day. I myself have watched it twice and seen multiple videos numerous times. And with all this exposed, I think it's easy to see that the Psycho series is not only a masterpiece for the reasons people would normally think it is, but also why in terms of storytelling, it's one of the greatest series we've ever seen on YouTube. So that being said, that's all for this video. Hopefully you guys found this take informative and enlightening as it relates to the storytelling in the Psycho series. The Psycho series was very good in its time, and for all time. And I think it's good for people to see that it wasn't just the good acting or the crazy screams that made it so good. There was something more to that series that really gave it an edge, and I hope I've exposed that today. That being said, please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the algorithm, and do note that if you comment, I do respond to them. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one.